Great Sunday evening to you, boys and girls, and welcome to another edition of Butch on Sports. Simply Butch is here, and as always, thanks for tuning in here. Yes, a Sunday evening, quiet Sunday evening, a very favorable Sunday evening with the weather taking a turn for the better there, as I know not a lot of humidity and dew points to kind of spoil everything around here. So hey, let's just get it snapping with some sports news you can't get enough of. This is going to be a abbreviated version tonight, maybe no more than 10, maybe at the most 15 minutes as I clear my throat, as usual, before I get into some of the great sports news that, yes, indeed, you can't get enough of, and then some. Yes. Let's do it here, boys and girls. Let's talk about the Detroit Tigers first. Let's get them out of the way here because I'm quite sure I got a lot to say about this here. This weekend for the Detroit Tigers, one individual, it was heaven can't be like this here for Miguel Cabrera, as the crowd really was very receptive there in Miami, Florida, for his visit to deal with the Marlins this weekend. Although it wasn't favorable for the Tigers per se, Miguel Cabrera played a humongous role in the Tigers trying to make some wins there, which, by the way, with a bullpen second to none, a failure. It's just not working out for him there. We'll talk about the bullpen in a moment. The Marlins packed some power with their punch 2-1 homer from Garrett Cooper in the seventh inning. Then left-handed reliever Tyler Horton got on in there and a solo home run to Gene Segura in the eighth inning off a right-hander Jose Cenero. That was done after the Tigers kind of like battled back, took a lead first thing in the game. Marlins came back, took the lead. Tigers battled back, take the lead again, and then from that point on, the seventh and eighth inning, it was just a loser leave town kind of atmosphere there, as the Tigers lose 2 out of 3 games at Lone Depot Park in Miami, Florida. Tigers' record now is 47-59. They have lost 8 out of 8 games. No, they have lost 9 games. They have only won 8 games after coming out of the bin after All Star break with some flurry, giving people a lot of hope, only to see their hope just drop down like I don't know what here. You fill in the blanks, boys and girls here. Tigers is really made a bend on it here, which brings me to the point of trading deadline, which is August the 1st at 6 o'clock in the evening, 3 p.m. Um, Pacific Daylight Time there. So you know there's a lot of stuff going to be going on here as far as uh, trading is concerned for the Detroit Tigers. And the best I can see right now without letting go the bag, excuse me, boys and girls, we got a little frog in my throat here. And I'm trying to get rid of it here as I go along talking to you here. However, Eduardo Rodriguez is one of the most talked about names, postseason contenders ahead for Tuesday, 6 p.m. Trade deadline. Um, Tigers will have a day off before they meet the Pittsburgh Pirates for 2 games. Um, Instead of the Tigers doing their thing here, what they did was push Enrado's Rodriguez's time, which he would have started on Tuesday. They pushed it now to Wednesday because they just want to keep him free and clear, and just in case he do get traded, and don't want him to go through a lot of semantics there. Another Tigers that they've been talking about very seriously here is Michael Lorenzen could be traded for the deadline as well. I don't know why, but again, Lorenzen seems like being the one of the up and coming pitchers for the Detroit Tigers. Getting rid of him would just somewhat, to me, be counterproductive. Again, you got to, for you to be a winning team, you got to keep people together, and to break them up like boa dominoes is just It's not the way to make a team. I don't care who the general manager, the vice president is. It's just it doesn't work. It doesn't work at all here. So with all that saying, boys and girls, there, another one's Kerry Carpenter. There, they're talking about him uh, with a flurry there, maybe a couple outfielders. Tigers' biggest problem is two things. Right now, they do not have a consistent bullpen, or pitching for that matter. It stinks, and they need to highly consider about having a conversation, a coming to Jesus meeting with the pitching coach. That is has a lot of bend and break to it there. I know the guy has been with AJ Hinch since he came here, but the results of the pitching staff has stunk to high heaven. And that is now the general manager has to sit down and say, hey, look, is this the guy who's going to take us to the next level of being a competitive team? That's where you find out who's the boss of the team here, either the manager or the general manager there to say, hey, look, and then have a solution per se too of who you're going to bring on in there as a pitching coach. And the manager don't like it, then maybe he can pack his bags too. That's just plain simple. Defense has stunk too. And not blaming the players so much here, but one of the things on defense that you got to kind of take a responsible mode is that the Tigers don't have set people and set lineups there. You can depend once upon a time when a player gets sent to left field, the majority of his time in the season will be left field. And now it's changing here, presto changeo there. Nothing. Third base stinks. Left field stinks again. Right field at times stinks. Uh, Shortstop definitely smelling. It's when you don't put people in places and then you leave people in places to do no good and they don't have no kind of benefit to it. It has to smell. Okay, you got to have some players right now who's 100% in the game, and I don't think Detroit Tigers have a lot of good players 100% in the game. They know you got a good owner who's going to pay them every 2 weeks or so, and that's where it lay. So the Detroit Tigers, we'll see what happened. We'll report on it again Wednesday on the Wednesday edition of Butch on Sports about trade improvements or deletions there. The Lions head coach Dan Campbell who talked at training camp today. This is day number 7 of training camp for the Detroit Lions. Can't believe that this week the Lions will be playing their first preseason game. Can't believe it. Buffalo Bills. Excuse me. Buffalo Bills can benefit from adding a player there. They have a little room to do so. And this is one the conversation was dealt with at the camp of Detroit Lions today. Wanted to tell you, wanted to make a suggestion, but trading away to the Detroit Lions was a defensive tackle, Tim Settles, who's near the end of his rotation of last season there. Settles did not make much of an impact last season for the not Detroit Lions, but the Buffalo Bills. So they're looking at his high pay and settling maybe where Detroit might pick him up for maybe a couple draft choices or something in exchange. He played 38% of the snaps. I'm talking about settles, that is. And the Buffalo Bills had plenty of options for it. Puno Ford or Jordan Phillips joining uh, Ed Oliver or Dequan Jones this offseason there. However, Ballantyne, their general manager, wrote uh, that Settles could be a good fit in Detroit, as the Lions could use a steady player alongside Alan McNeil, and Detroit Lions were among the league's worst defense when it came down to the run last year as well. I agree with that wholeheartedly. People can run on the Detroit Lions. Hopefully, they cannot do it this year. They allow opponents to rush for a total of 2,491 yards and 22 total touchdowns against that defense last year. What are you going to do? Well, that's just one of the things that the Lions need to get some balance with. It's their run defense and also their pass defense. Their defense, certain players, and I don't want to get it all twisted. Certain players with Detroit Lions were very, very good last year. Aiden Hutchinson and a lot of the rookies came in there and shined. Doesn't mean that the whole team in general did a absolutely good job. The offense was spectacular, and that what kept Detroit Lions in a lot of games and won a lot of games was the offense. Defense, you had to lean on your pillow there. That's why I'm saying watch the defense this year. That's going to be the huge key if Detroit Lions do what they say they're going to do, or a lot of prognosticators say that Detroit Lions will be a first place team. We'll wait and see. Soccer, women's soccer in the World Cup today. Germany and Colombia played. Guess what? Colombia beat Germany. That is a big surprise by a score of 2-1. Norway just hammered the Philippines by a score of 6-0. Switzerland and yes, New Zealand had a 0-0 tie. New Zealand is out. And it comes down to the Sweet 16. They won't be playing, and they are the home, more or less the home team. And also played today was North Korea Republic and Morocco played. Morocco wins by a score of 1-0 over Korea Republic. Yeah, I saw soccer from the time I went to bed to the time I got up in the morning, and hey, it was pretty cool indeed. I wouldn't. Some news in the trading for the baseball here. New York Post reported that the Mets are trading veteran reliever Dave Robinson to the Miami Marlins. That took place this afternoon, as you did get to see Dave Robinson in the lineup for the Miami Marlins against the Detroit Tigers. In return, the Mets will get back prospect Marco Vargas and also Ronnie Hernandez, two rookies, league players who are ranked the Marlins top 21. And of course, Robinson, 38 years old, All Star, broke back, and he became All Star in 2011. Probably one of the trade candidates of the oldest relief pitcher. He's on a 1 year contract, so that's not too much that the Marlins could lose. Of course, he did come in the lineup today to close out the game for the Detroit, not Detroit Tigers, but the Miami Marlins today against the Detroit Tigers. And he has a feasible good earned run average of 2.05. I'm talking about Robinson, that is. So Miami's in the running to make the playoffs. So why not go ahead on and invest in the team itself there? I'm not mad with him at all there. Recap: Detroit Tigers lose today. They lose 2 out of 3 in Miami, although it was plentiful for Miguel Cabrera, as the Miami crowd was very, very huge and gracious in bidding Miguel Cabrera, their native son, by the way, there, who in the offseason, um, Miguel Cabrera and family does hold base near Miami, Florida, as their home off-season home. So I'm quite sure there's a lot to be said with Miguel Cabrera when he retired from Detroit Lions, the Tigers this year. He might have a job there this, in the city of Miami for doing something. He is a heck of a person, that is, born a day after me, a day before me. He's on the 18th, I'm on the 19th of April. Butch on Sports is a presentation of Oh My Darling Productions. Check out Butch on Facebook. Always Butch on Sports on Facebook. Or you can go to the homepage go to the homepage at Podomatic.com. Type in SIMPLYBUTCHTOO at, not at, but dot Podomatic.com. Okay? I am out of gas, okay, or I'd say out of voice here as I've been straining to give you this report, but I made it. I made it on time. Thank God here. You guys, everybody here, have a very good beginning of the week. Hang on in there. Things are going to get better for you if you want them to, okay? You got to want them to get better if they're going to get better. I do. I pray for that every day. Things going to get better. Hey, especially for our home teams here, Tigers, Red Wings, Pistons, Lions. Hey, hang on in there, boys and girls. Have a great beginning of the week. Check us out on Wednesday. Tell your friends about us on Wednesday. Another edition of Butch on Sports, Facebook style, or on Podomatic.com.